How do you hit a big goal that feels impossible? Today, I'm sharing a clip from a roundtable discussion with some brokers, and we talk about setting goals, bigger goals. And I talk about this, what I call the unless trick, which is just adding this word in order to help you expand what you think is possible, and why bigger goals actually help you filter out a lot of the noise and make you better focused. We also talk about reverse engineering the goal once you have the big goal. And finally, we then talk about client gift. I want to give you a taste of sort of some client calls that we do, or agent calls we do. I think you find this useful. And of course, this was very goal focused, but we have a lot of different topics that we cover. Sometimes it's lending tricks and tips. Sometimes it's underwriting. Sometimes it's client journey. Sometimes it's lead stuff. But the whole idea is that it's a very collaborative group and it's a ton of fun. So I just wanted to share this clip with you. Hey, I'm Scott Beckford. This is the I Love Mortgage Brokering podcast. And each week, my goal is to bring you some content that helps you in your mortgage business. And I hope you find this useful.
About just like setting bigger goals. So I've always set goals that are like smart, that they're realistic and I can actually achieve them. And then I'm proud of myself when I achieve them because I set it out and I did it. But setting a much bigger goal, and I'm kind of like trying to conceptualize that in how do you reverse engineer a goal that feels way too big for you to achieve. I've always been able to, very easily reverse engineer goals that I think I can actually hit. What does it look like? Let's say right now I'm doing 20 million a year and I'm like, I'm going to get to 100 million over the next, few years. What does that look like? Well, the processes I'm doing now might need to change pretty dramatically. So how do I actually do that? Do you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying. What I find a good exercise is to use the unless framework, which is it would be impossible for me to hit 100 million in 3 years unless. And what happens is your brain starts to solve for that problem. Our brains are we will be, unless what? Well, unless I have enough leads. Okay, but what am I going to need to get the leads? And then what about the team? And what about and you start going down through the list. I feel like that's a good exercise. The other piece is that what I like about this 10X thinking, that the book, The Science of Scaling, if you haven't read it, it will blow your mind. The book, The Science of Scaling, is by the same author, and it's really good. And in it, he argues that if you set a small goal, there's 100 things you could do to probably get it. But when you set a big goal, it eliminates most things you won't be able to do. You're like, well, that won't actually work. And so by setting the big goal, it automatically creates a whole bunch of no's that makes you not chase the shiny objects or the rabbits that you don't need to chase. And it makes you be more focused on the few things that actually could make a difference. That's at least how I perceive it. Anyway, what else's thoughts on that?
My goals have been like stepping stones versus like the big, fat, hairy, audacious goal that's out there to try and run for. So it's a bit of a shift in thinking.
Wouldn't just having like your small, whatever achievable goal and then just have like sequential goals after that get you to that big goal? So like you could reverse it by, your 100 million. What do you need to do? Maybe you need to hire somebody. That can be a goal, but where does that go in the process of your little step goals to get to your big goal? And that way it's still bite-sized, achievable. You can still do the pat on the back, get that dopamine hit of you're doing something good, you achieved your goals, but you're still working towards that big goal, which is like all big goals take micro goals to achieve, right? It's not like you just do something and all of a sudden you skip all these smaller goals you would have. So like, I don't even know what I'm thinking about in that. Like almost like how you'd map a customer journey, but of your goals, and you just kind of mark your journey getting to that big goal that you're setting.
So my background's in project management. So you get it. How do you get to accomplishment of building a $100 million website for somebody? And it's the reverse engineering. You need the big goal and then work it backwards to figure out how you get there. So you're absolutely right in the tiny steps, but you need the big goal to get the small steps.
Yeah, I need a new big goal for sure. I was like, I don't know. My big goal every day is just to fight not going outside and go golfing. It's so nice out right now. It's like, I'm like, oh, I have enough money to survive. Why not just go golfing? That's my biggest challenge. It's tough. Didn't really think I was going to get here. So now I'm like, wow, top of the road.
But maybe your big goal is I want to only work 4 hours a day and make the same amount of money.
I do work largely 4 hours a day.
Okay.
And make the same amount of money. I mean, I'm like, I'm checking all the boxes right now, but I'm like, a little bit more, I guess, would be great, and a little bit less work. I'm just doing these micro adjustments right now.
But maybe your goal is less now business and more on personal goals. Your business doesn't always have to be bigger if that's not what you want it to be. I'm in the position like I want my business to be bigger. So that can be my focus, but maybe that's just not your focus right now. And also give me your leftover leads.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, we'll see. I just gotta figure it out. I think this nice weather we're having here in the Okanagan is just derailing me pretty hard.
It's pretty nice out.
This is part of this whole goal setting thing where I was talking about, where I'm feel like I had this goal in mind and then I reverse engineered it, but it was too small. My reverse engineering wasn't accounting for the growth that I actually wanted. And now that I'm here, I'm like, I didn't plan for this accordingly. and now you're having to like redo it, which obviously you just make mistakes. You learn as you go, of course, but I'm trying to reduce the number of mistakes. I don't want to steer the whole meeting, but I have a question on what people do for clients gifting, for referral partners, thoughts on just ways to deepen referral relationships, what works, what doesn't work for everyone.
Who does gifting? If you don't do it, then that's fine. But who's doing gifting of any kind?
I do it sometimes with big mortgages and clients. Younger, big mortgage people, they're high income earners that I know they're going to be having a lifetime of mortgage help and needs. I will sometimes gift them something. But in general, I think less than 5% of my funded files have had a gift.
Anyone else?
I use send out cards because I want to automate it as much as possible. So I kind of tier it towards obviously the size of the mortgage. So the bigger the mortgage, the bigger commission, obviously the bigger the gift. I've had it where when I have repeat clients, I don't want to give the same send out card. So I usually just give out Cactus Club, Earls, GCs. I mean, it's not super personal, but hey, everyone likes a free meal. So nothing wrong with that. And I recently had a client gave me a thank you gift. He gave me like a $300 MasterCard GC or whatever it was. And I'm like, that's amazing. I used it to pay my bills or whatever. So I know it's not super personal, but if it helps somebody, positive way, then I think that makes a difference too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've given skip the dishes cards to first-time home buyers lately that buy their first home. I'm like, great, you're going to put all this energy into moving. You don't want to cook. Order a meal to your new house. Congrats. Here you go. And it's like $100, and they're just like, yay! Like they just love that, and it's easy, it's quick, it's not personal, but it actually is meaningful for what they're doing. Like nobody wants to cook after they just moved their home, right? So it's like it's one of those things which are quick, easy, but doesn't make as much sense maybe for like a refinance or something, so it's more of purchase specific. But
I'll throw into that a little. So what we are doing, typically I have a lot of new purchases and again, new to Canada people. So what we're trying to do is to do a little bit of a personal gift, like that is Ukrainian kind of topic. So we would do a little bracelet with like little Ukrainian Canadian charms to kind of welcome the people to Canada and also let them know a little bit about their ancestry as well. And then also a little gift card. It could be something kind of home sense, Marshalls, or sometimes it can be just a general gift card for like any purchase. And then we also send a little card itself where I'll write a few good words and I will also ask for a review. And I will slap a little sticker with the QR code to do a review. So that's one of the ways how I collect the Google reviews at the end.
Right. That's good. Kristen had said she gives out gifts to the referral partner for the referral, not for the close. So it's a smaller amount, which you're rewarding the behavior, not the outcome, which I think is a smart strategy. Thanks again for listening. And hopefully you found that this discussion useful, and just use the unless trick. I'm telling you, if you have this goal in front of you that seems impossible, just say the goal and say it would be impossible for this to happen unless, and then your brain will go to work trying to solve that problem. It's amazing how probably are more creative than you think. You probably have more ideas than you think. You just have to give yourself permission to open that door. And if you want to get more ideas for your mortgage business, we've got an email that I send every week called Peckford's Playbook. I share tips, tricks, anything that I'm learning. If you want to get on that, you can hit me up on social, scott@mortgagebrokering.com. Click on this episode, you can get on that list. We send out an email once a week. I promise you it's not a waste. It'll help you with your business. Thanks for listening. And as I always say, there's no problem in your mortgage business someone else hasn't already solved. Your problem is finding the answer when you need it. These podcasts are designed to provide some of those answers. Thanks for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.